I'm just going to take you through the setup that I'm using with the Fujifilm X10. It's a good little camera, and I'm using it in manual mode. So I'm setting M, and I've set the function button to ISO. So it's quite a good little setup because you can just hit the function button and you can go straight into ISO and use the back dial. So I'm not using it in auto ISO. I tend to use 200 outside, and I tend to use sort of 1600 inside. You can get away with 800 because it's got an f2 lens. So I've got the function button set up on the top, and that's great. On the back of the camera, which is really good, you've got full aperture control. I mean, 5.6 is where I start with everything. So 5.6 there, you just press the button in and you can adjust. So 200 at 5.6, and outside, as I said, we're at ISO 200 most of the time. Let's put that in. So 200, 5.6. It's a really quick camera to use. In fact, you're doing ISO, shutter speed and aperture with the function button all from one dial is excellent. So really getting on well with this camera. I'm going to do a few more reviews. It's like my mini 5D Mark 1 really. So it sort of fits in well because it's got the equivalent focal lengths near enough of 24 to 105 is my standard lens on the 5D Mark 1, but this one 28 to 112, it's a great little focal length range, so I don't really need any other camera. Really getting into small cameras, so yeah, you'll see a few more reviews and bits and pieces I'm doing, but the main thing I wanted to show you today is ISO bracketing. So what I'm doing, I'm actually moved away from RAW files and I'm shooting JPEG. So I want to do that because I don't want to use Lightroom anymore. This is sort of a hobby camera really, so just to enjoy photography again. So what I'm doing is actually using the ISO bracketing to bracket 1/3 of a stop either side of the exposure. So I might be 200, 1/200th of a second, 5.6 and 200 ISO, and I'm outside, and I'll just use that as a bracket, and it will take 3 shots and bracket them, which is really good because it does it so quickly and it's in one shot. So it's not actually physically doing 3 shutter actuations, it's bracketing the ISO and giving you 3 files, which I've wanted for a long time. It would have been ideal for weddings. You can choose 2/3 of a stop as well, or 1 stop, but I'm just bracketing 1/3 of a stop either side, and it's working fine. I'm getting the ideal exposure. Because I find with the Fuji files, I used to own the X-T1, you have to be pretty accurate on your exposure if you're going to shoot the JPEGs. But when you do and you get it right, the files are absolutely excellent, to be honest with you. JPEG straight out of the camera. I know everybody says this, and sometimes you just, you might not believe it, but you can take it from me. The files straight out of the camera, you don't need to be shooting RAW. The dynamic range is great, and yeah, so getting on really well with it. I'm actually just going to the menu, I'll show you quickly what sort of things I'm up to in there. So I found with this camera, and I say this to a lot of people I'm teaching them, is don't muck around with them too much. I mean, this is made in Japan, Japanese engineers. They spent, they're enthusiastic photographers, the people that produce these cameras. So don't muck around with them too much. Film simulation, it says standard, but the word Provia or Provia is the one to look for, because in the range of Fujifilm films, so I used to use Velvia film, used to use Astia. So if you come down, you've got Astia, which is softer, Velvia for landscape, and Provia was the middle one, if you like. So it's a very forgiving sort of profile, and it's very natural. You'll find your colours will be spot on, and Provia was used a lot by studio photographers and sort of calendar type photographers. You needed accurate colours. Strangely enough, I missed it out when I used to use film, and I used to use Velvia for landscape, and I liked Astia for portraits, but I'm not that fond of it straight out of camera as a digital file, so I'm preferring Provia. So just set standard and you should be fine. Come come down a little bit. Colour, I've mucked around with these, and you can do the same, but look, standard, all fine. The file that comes straight out the camera is spot on. So again, don't try and reinvent the wheel, and that's why I'm moving away from RAW, is because I think we're all fiddling around with these files a bit too much. So let's leave them alone, see what we get first, and just go from there. Face detection is really good on this camera. Been using that a lot. Been using the optical viewfinder, which I like, and using the back of the camera, so that's going well. What else can I tell you? There's not a very big menu, which is great. Let's go through here. Silent mode. So yeah, you can switch between silent mode by pressing the display button. Let's just go back to the beginning. So you can make this an absolutely silent camera. So now silent mode is on. Flash won't pop up, and you'll hear no bleeps or anything from the camera. You'll hear just the tick of the leaf shutter as you take the photo, which is non-existent, to be honest. So that's what really makes this camera a great low noise camera. So let's hold it in again, switch it back. So silent mode's off now, so you'll hear the bleeps in the menu, this sort of thing. So let's go back and have a look at image size. So image size, I'm actually sticking to 4:3, which is quite an unusual format used by iPhones, camera phones. Start looking at your formats and what you're using. Obviously my world was 3:2 with weddings with the Canon 5D Mark I, but I'm actually enjoying using the 4:3, so I'm sticking with that at the moment. But having the choice of square and just playing around, so I'm going to use square in black and white for a while and see how I get on with that. But to be honest with you, I'm quite enjoying 4:3, so I'm sticking with that. So I produce a large JPEG. I started using RAW files with this camera and soon realised, to be honest with you, that A, the JPEG was that good, so why bother? And it's large, and you know, you've got to store it somewhere. So I came away from the RAW files, just producing a large 4:3, and then cropping that if need be to 3:2 or 16:9. So yeah, keeping it really simple with this one. Image quality, fine, so best quality out the camera. Dynamic range is an interesting one. I've headed towards 200%. It comes in at 100%. Now the 200% I find gives me as much as you need dynamic range. I mean, we all know we want more dynamic range from any camera, but the Fuji seem to be very good at dynamic range for the smaller sensors. So on their crop sensors and these smaller sensors. So this one is smaller than the X100. So have a look into that. If you don't like the small sensor look, you might not like the file out of this camera. I like it a lot with a longer focal length, 112 or 28, so that's where I am, 85 to 112 or wide at 28. I'm just finding it works really well. Let's go down a little bit further, see what we've got. So there you go, the menu's pretty much done. There isn't much to it. Haven't used much flash with it yet, but maybe I'll do another video on that. It's got a little pop-up flash. So I'm going to be able to signal to my 20, 30 pound flashes I get from Amazon and make them go off. So it's just a quick overview. I can see me doing a lot more videos on this, as I'm calling it my mini 5D classic. There's plenty to look into there on the top. You've got manual, aperture priority, shutter priority. It's all going on. But as I say, I'm using a function button for ISO, shutter speed and aperture, very simply between the two. Got a nice f2 lens in here that goes 2.8 when it's zoomed out, so very fast lens. Start at 5.6, but the main thing I wanted to show you is bracketing your ISOs, making a bright image, medium and a dark image, and that gives you the flexibility to just hit the shutter, take the picture and move on. Yeah, you haven't got to worry about exposure so much. One other thing that I haven't used really much over the years, which, you know, you watch my other videos, you'll see I'm not into metering, but I'm actually amazed how accurate the Fujifilm metering is. So I can hit 0 on this with an average scene, take a picture with ISO bracketing, and it will nail the exposure on the middle one anyway. So well done, Fujifilm. Didn't get on too well with the X-T1, sold it, but I'm really enjoying this little camera, very lightweight, and hope to do more on it. So it's probably worth subscribing now if you haven't already. Hit the like button if you could for me, because it just helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Look at my other videos and I'll give you some more videos soon. I've been away for a while, but we'll come back with some small cameras now. Okay, thanks a lot.